So let's talk about an update when it comes to Hedera. Very recently, something called CCN ranked Hedera at number 63 out of 101, in which case, even though nothing I say is financial advice, and even though this is just my opinion, how is it possible that there's 62 projects better than Hedera? A lot of my friends out there thought that, Hedera being ranked 63rd in that chart, right? Or in that ranking, I should say, they thought it was a little bit disrespectful, especially if we consider how HBAR is ranked number 21 in the world as of right now in terms of market cap within this space. Yeah, I mean, how is it possible that there's 62 projects better than this? But even besides that, even if we ignore the current market cap ranking of HBAR, which is 21 in the world as of right now, is it possible that, again, there's 62 projects that are more fundamentally sound than this? The thing is this, when it comes to Hedera, it's just a little bit different because Hedera Hashgraph utilizes a directed acyclic graph. It doesn't even utilize traditional blockchain technology. So just by default right there, how could it be possible that there's over 62 projects ranked higher than this? But whatever, right? It's just a ranking. Sometimes someone's opinion about a project doesn't really indicate, I think, the full scope of the project, right? I think sometimes it doesn't really fully showcase the fundamentals of it. So when I take a look at something like this, am I disappointed? No, I'm not. I still like the project overall, so this stuff right here doesn't disappoint me, but I just thought it was pretty surprising. Like, how is Hedera ranked 63rd when it comes to this? It's a little bit too low, maybe, arguably, in my perspective. Would I put Hedera like top 5? Like, no, but I'm not going to make it 63rd. This is just my mindset. Keep in mind, this post in and of itself already kind of highlights Hedera because it already talked about aspects when it comes to AI, when it comes to Hedera, and also real world assets, right? Or should I say RWAs? It already talked about that. And the thing is, a lot of other projects that are focused on that, they're using traditional blockchain technology. Hedera Hashgraph, again, it's different. So, again, why was it ranked so low? But besides that point, if I take a look at it as well, Hedera has an aspect of ISO 20022, by the way, right? Now, people like to tell me, okay, who cares about this? Well, if people care about it when it comes to Stellar, when it comes to Ripple, when it comes to XDC, why does it suddenly not matter when it comes to Hedera? I think it does matter, actually, because if we take a look at ISO 20022, that's currently being used by many financial institutions from all around the world for something called inter-organizational data exchange. So it's already being used. That's the thing. It's not something conceptual or experimental or something like that. At least that's the way to take a look at it. It's already being used literally by many large institutions out there. But the thing is, Hedera isn't really recognized, sometimes arguably, as a default project that is focused on global trade and finance, much like a Ripple or much like a Stellar, for instance, or even an XDC. It's not really considered that way. So sometimes the aspect of ISO 20022 is ignored. But actually, in the grand scheme of things, if that factor right there, again, ISO 20022, which I keep saying, but again, I have to say it, if that is cared about when it comes to Ripple and Stellar, I feel like I'd care about it as well when it comes to Hedera. This is just my perspective. So again, when it comes to Hedera, is it such a bad project? Personally, I don't think about it that way. Even the governing council has Google, right? And I'm not joking, by the way. Hedera's governing council does have Google, supposedly, and we saw FedEx recently join its council. So yeah, I just don't think it's such a bad project, to me at least. However, at the same time, if I take a look at HBAR, people like to tell me that, oh wow, it's so lame because it's so low as of right now. Okay, it may be kind of low, even though the market cap is actually still around 4 billion, but besides that point, I actually like this for dollar cost averaging because it's like, imagine if I only liked t-shirts or whatever like that when it's really, really expensive, but I don't like it when it's having a discount. That's not going to make any sense for me. It's just counterintuitive at that point. It's like, why, right? In real life, that's how I operate. So why would it be any different when it comes to this? Sometimes a lot of my friends out there, they love discounts in real life, but they take a look at a pullback within this space and suddenly it's a totally different reaction. But I get it, because in this space, there's something to track the portfolio, seeing it going down. Sometimes, it's not that good for the ego. And then also, it's just like, oh wow, it's having a pullback. But personally for me, if I don't exit, I feel like why would it matter if I saw like my portfolio go down, in a sense where I feel like it's unrealized for me anyways. I don't want to realize it by leaving. So what do? I dollar cost average once a month. And for the projects that, I have a high average cost, I just try to bring it down, right? By dollar cost averaging, arguably at lower points. That's it. But I do it once a month. So I can't control when I could in terms of the level of the charts, but I can, control the consistency of it. So by dollar cost averaging, personally for me, once a month, I'm able to kind of even out the sort of levels, right? Maybe I dollar cost average up here, sometimes down here, but eventually it kind of evens it out because I do it once a month, and I try to do it as consistently as possible following that routine, which I have been doing actually for well over 2 years when it comes to HBAR. So that's what I've been doing. That's it. I don't want to leave, but also at the same time, I don't want to give up. This is my mindset because I don't need confirmation for me to believe in a project. What I do is I take a look at the fundamentals. I take a look at what the project is trying to do. That's it. Because as of right now, what confirmation can I look for? It's not like it's only HBAR having a pullback. A lot of projects out there are having a pullback. So what, I'm going to have to wait till, Bitcoin goes back to 100 grand before I start believing in projects again within this space? No, sir. I don't need to wait for that to happen. I'm just going to do it anyways. This is personally my mindset. I'm not telling anyone to do anything, but this is just the way I take a look at it. When it comes to Bitcoin, if that's having a pullback, if Ethereum is having a pullback, suddenly a lot of people are saying, oh wow, it's so amazing for dollar cost averaging, but suddenly it's not here. The thing is, I'm still a fan when it comes to HBAR, so I don't view it in a different way, in a sense where if HBAR has a pullback, I'll be happy to dollar cost average, personally, even though I'm not telling anyone to do anything. It's like, for instance, people like to tell me also, why do I like dollar cost averaging at a low point? Well, let's just use a different example, right? Who's more happy right now in terms of the Bitcoin holders? People who got in at over 100 grand or the ones that got in at $10? Arguably, I think the ones that are still holding right now, even though they got it at $10, that's the thing. So when it comes to dollar cost averaging at a low point, sometimes I feel like, isn't that the point though, right? Isn't that kind of the objective? I can't control that. I can't always dollar cost average at a low point, but preferably if I could do it at a lower point, yeah, I'm not going to complain. It's not like there's a specific, moment where I would go all in. There's no way I would do that. I would still just dollar cost average once a month to maintain consistency, and also just to kind of maintain moments in which, if let's say things do go lower, who knows, right? Which is why I just incrementally dollar cost average once a month. That's it. And I just never go all in like that, because what happens if things go lower? Then I can't dollar cost average anymore. Then things become boring. So yeah, I don't want to do that, which is why I just dollar cost average once a month. That's it. But this has been a pretty quick update when it comes to Hedera, because I just saw like Hedera was ranked 63rd again in this CCN top 101 chart, which I thought, like I found pretty shocking, just because why was Hedera ranked 63rd? But even besides that point, yeah, I'm still a fan when it comes to HBAR. I haven't given up, and that's pretty much it. Feel free to stay tuned for more updates when it comes to Hedera, because I'm going to be making them moving forward. So hopefully you all stay tuned for that. Again, it's Mali the Captain, and I'll see y'all on the next one. I'm out. Peace. Bye.